Good stories.
I feel like my sister is gonna die this year. My sister has been on the streets for 15 years. She doesn't have anywhere to go, she doesn't have anywhere to live, she doesn't have anything. My sister's name is Alicia. She was the best sister growing up. We're 10 years apart, but we had a great relationship. My sister started using drugs in 2005 after she had her baby, her first child, about 6 months in. New mother, relationship just ended, brand new baby, living on her own, just starting out by herself. She was scared. I figured she was using drugs when she would come drop the baby off, and there would be no hat on the baby, a sock would be missing, there'd be no diapers, she'd forget clothes, little things like that. You'd show up at her house and the house wouldn't be clean. You'd show up at her house and the baby would be strapped in the buggy when it shouldn't be like that. You'd show up in the backyard and she'd be crying for no reason at all, just her emotions and just how she was feeling. It was scary to think that's where we were headed or what was gonna start. Over the first couple of years of Alicia's addiction, she ended up losing custody of her daughter, and the father gained custody. She became homeless. My family responded to it just by trying to help her, trying to just give her food, trying to guide her, trying to tell her, you can't be doing this, trying to tell her different ways to do it, telling her she could stay with us for a couple days at a time, but just trying to guide her through it and telling her to go see specialists and telling her to go to the doctors and get help. This isn't the way it should be. You just had a beautiful baby girl. We need to get through this. This is a bad time, but you can get through this. You're young. You can do this. People have gotten through it. You can do it too.
What happened?
Alicia became addicted, and she stayed in Maple Ridge most of the time. And in 2008, she became pregnant. And we didn't know until she showed up at the house and she was having a shower, and I just noticed her stomach was huge and she was little and frail, so it wasn't anything like her being big, it was pregnant. And I asked her, are you pregnant? She said, no, it's the angels, is what she would tell me. And I called my aunt who works at the carrying place and I told her about it, and she said she'd keep an eye on Alicia, and we pretty much just had to watch her be pregnant on the streets, and yeah.
What happened to the baby?
The night Alicia went into labor, she came to our door at 11:30 p.m. and her first daughter was at the house, and she said that her stomach was hurting and she was in pain. My mom wasn't gonna let her in because we were trying to do tough love and rock bottom, even though she's pregnant, but trying to teach her that tough love and rock bottom, everyone would say. No, don't help her, rock bottom. I begged my mom, I said, please let her come in. She let her stay the night, and sure enough, her water broke that night. So my mom and her went off to the hospital, and Alicia had a C-section because the baby was breached. She had no prenatal care during her pregnancy. No one looked at her, no one looked. She didn't see a doctor, didn't take any meds, nothing. Jessica was born, and she came out perfect, thank God. And Alicia ended up being kept in the hospital for quite a bit of time. She didn't want anything to do with the baby. She just wanted her backpack and her stuff, and she just wanted to be left alone. And the baby went right into foster care, and my mom and I fought for a whole year until we got custody. Yeah, toughest year probably of our life. She ended up getting into a fight with a police officer and getting arrested and got put into Colony Farms, and that's kind of how this all went. And she got clean because she had a choice. It was either go to jail or go to Colony Farm. Well, she chose Colony Farm, and then the road to recovery came. Yeah. The treatment she received was going to Quality Farms and getting on medication, and that kind of just set her from there. It was her chance to kind of get help. She was seeing counselors. She was going to meetings, AA meetings. She had a sponsor. She was doing really well. So I don't know what happened. We don't know what happened. I know she ended up not going to appointments, not going to the doctors, not just falling behind. She came right back to Maple Ridge, her old stomping grounds, went right back down to the wharf, met up with whoever, and got right back on track. Became homeless again. Her attitude towards the situation was that she just couldn't win anymore. Family members were pushing custody on her of her youngest daughter, which wasn't a good thing. Alicia needed to be sober first and then worry about custody. She already had her daughter, she already had visitation, she already had overnights. But because family members were pushing stuff on her, it made her feel overwhelmed and it made her feel like it was so much. And then it just continued and back to where it was. I contacted Jamie because he's getting shit done in this community. I'm seeing videos he's posting. I'm seeing the people he's helping.
So I believe that Ashley contacted us because she had tried everything else.
The help I've been trying to get my sister over the last couple of years is filing mental health acts at the courthouse. I go in there, I write out the application, I file it, I get a court date, I stand in front of the judge. I've stood in front of him 3 times. He's emptied the courtroom. I pretty much just cry and beg him and show him pictures and show him Facebook posts and show him everything that I'm going through and everything that I'm seeing and everything I don't want her kids to see in the future. I'm trying to change. And he grants the warrant every time. And I drive it to the Coquitlam police station every time. And I go and find her for the police every time. I call the police and say, hey, my sister's got a warrant for her arrest. Can you come get her? And then I go meet them at the hospital. And I sit with them while they assess her. And then I watch them let her go all 3 times. Nothing's happened. I don't know what the point of these mental health acts are, but nothing's happened.
And all of these things somehow, after doing everything that they told her to do, was still falling short without it being her fault. It was the fault of the courts and I believe the health industry, that if you need help and if you have government documents stating that this should happen, you shouldn't be just now abandoning the person who's went through all the work to make it happen and leaving her to stand there alone with her sister on the side of the road.
So what they're saying is she chooses to walk naked up and down the street.
Well, for the longest time, the people on the internet were calling her like red bum or baboon bum because a lot of times her pants are halfway down her butt cheeks. So in the west coast of Canada, it gets cold sometimes, and the exposed area would be bright red. And it's a concern to a lot of people because it doesn't just stop there. A lot of times the pants go down further. A lot of times she'll just strip off all of her clothes for whatever reason and just walk down the street. And as a dad and a brother and, you don't want to see any woman on the streets in that condition because it's not their choice. It's just sort of the situation that they're in. So we usually try to stop and see what help she needs.
She's threatened to kill herself. She's threatened to kill me. She's threatened to kill other people. She's, like I said, walking up and down the streets naked. She's doing multiple things that are not Alicia. That is not Alicia. So what are the doctors doing? What are the nurses doing? What are they all doing? All the psychiatrists and stuff? Like, why did they let her go? Like, I don't get it. I want to address people for the last 15 years who have helped my sister by passing her $20 bill, a $5 bill. Money doesn't help. You're just passing her the drug. My biggest fear for my sister is that she's going to die, and I have to tell her daughters that she's gone. My view on mandatory treatment and incarceration is, for some people, I totally agree for it. For Alicia's situation, 15 years we've been dealing with this. I've been trying to get her help. I feel like for her, she should be put in somewhere and helped and shown the right things and put on the right medication and shown how life works. It shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't be this way. No one's being responsible for her. I'm here telling my story today because my sister's been addicted for 15 years, and if I can't even get help from the courthouse, the RCMP, the nurses, the doctors, any of that stuff, who can I get help from for my sister? The government is okay with letting people die. When I run into my sister on the streets, or I see her on the streets, she's not living at all. She's living in a crack house, I believe. She doesn't have housing. She appears to have different clothes every single day. She's angry. She's got no teeth in anymore. Her hair is all different length. She's verbally aggressive to me. If I don't have money, I am a lost cause. There's no use to see my face if I have no money. I get text messages constantly and Facebook messages saying, "Hey Ash, I just seen your sister. Hey, I just seen your sister walking here. Hey, not sure if you've seen your sister. Just so you know, she just was seen here and here." Like, constantly from people, constantly from friends. They're all like, "Hey, I don't know if you want to see it, but it's a part of life." Like, and I'm like, "No, I do. I haven't seen her in 2 or 3 weeks. So like, I'm glad you messaged me. Thank you." The progressive approach is not working for Alicia. I believe for her own good, she needs to be locked up. She needs the help. She needs to be it needs to be mandatory. She needs to be locked in somewhere. She needs to be told what to do. She needs to not be running her own life. It's not going to work. It hasn't been working, and it's not going to work. I wish that she could get the help that she needs. I wish someone would step up and be her voice, because apparently I'm not loud enough. And nothing's working. I just wish she would be back with me, be my sister.